Colleague and I are here today as Utica council members, chair and member of the Urban and Economic Development Committee, and citizens of the city. In early spring, it was learned that a private law firm had been hired by the administration to investigate some undisclosed aspects of city business at an undisclosed rate of payment because of possible conflicts of interest concerning the City Corporation Counsel's office. It was later learned that the Hage investigation centered on questionable handling and oversight of federal and state monies by a number of entities, including the GroWest agency, the Urban and Economic Development Department, the City Controller's Office, private contractors, and others. A number of questions were raised then and subsequent to the executive summary and final report submitted by the Hage & Hage law firm, along with revelations concerning the resignation of Utica's home program coordinator after only 4 weeks on the job, have compelled Councilman Zecca and me to ask more questions. And we are compelled to ask the State Attorney General's office to come in and to take over the investigation, and for the State Controller's office to come in and to do a thorough audit, because the conflict of interest does still exist. Councilman Zecca has further information.
Thank you, Councilman Vescera. Again, I really want to thank the residents that made a point to be here today, because this involves all of you, the citizens of the city of Utica, and not only of the elected officials. And as Councilman Vescera has said, we are also requesting the public to join us in contacting the state representatives to demand a New York State Attorney General and State Controller investigation of the GroWest / city government debacle. We're asking folks, the media's got a packet, we're asking folks to contact their New York State Assemblywoman, Roanne DeStito, New York State Senator Joseph Griffo, New York State Attorney General Office, Andrew Cuomo, and New York State Controller's Office of Tom DiNapoli, and demand this. We've done our research on this, and after reading the executive summary that everyone has now had a chance to see, the full document is in the safe at City Hall and not available to general public view. And even more so that we want this to be an outside agency, actually a true outside agency, to investigate. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the two agencies that need to investigate and why. The first one is the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office has a bureau called the Public Integrity Bureau. It investigates and seeks to vindicate the public's interest in honest government when government actors or private individuals acting in concert with them engage in corruption, fraud, or illegal behavior in the course of their public duties. The Public Integrity Bureau may investigate or take enforcement action to restore the public's interest in honest government and the integrity of government officials at the state and local level. Specifically, Public Integrity Bureau handles complex investigations such as this into government corruption, fraud, and abuse of authority. On to the next state office that needs to be involved in this, the Office of the State Controller, the Investigations Unit of the Legal Services Division. The report, Government Fraud, and it specifically says State Controller DiNapoli is working to find and fight fraud at every level of state and local government. The public's help is needed in the fight here in the city of Utica. New Yorkers can report allegations of fraud, corruption, and abuse of taxpayer money by calling a toll-free hotline, 1-888-672 4555. We ask all of you, make those calls and call your state representatives. This is truly important to our city. Councilman Vescera and I, just the last thing I'd like to state, we felt strongly about this investigation after we saw the report. We felt that we cannot sit back any longer. Our two districts are severely affected by the demise of this organization, and what we have seen we're appalled by, and we really do need to have a true independent investigation outside of the city of Utica, and that's where the state steps in. And the two agencies that are involved in this in the state make a perfect fit for this investigation to continue. And this document can be turned over along with the full document to both agencies.
In addition, Councilman, as a reminder, we're not just asking for outside help. As an entity up to ourselves, my committee, the Urban and Economic Development Committee, which I am chair, and Councilman Zecca is a member, we're going to start our input this Thursday at an Urban and Economic Development Committee meeting, Thursday, 6:30 p.m. in the council room, to begin looking at ways to address these noted problems.
Well, Frank, let us talk about the CDBG committee that the chairman is here today, too. Already formed a committee.
One of the things that Councilman Zecca and I have been asking for years to try to circumvent this was the formation of a CDBG committee to help Citizens Advisory Development Grant Block Committee meeting monies, is because for so long many people have felt, and some rightfully so, that what has been handed down as far as CDBG funds has been ultimately just a rubber stamping of whoever happened to be in charge of that at the time. But to bring more transparency to this department and make it more efficient, this 9-member committee we feel will help in this regard, and that's one of the things that we've already started, and we hope to go much further than that in the succeeding weeks.
When you guys talk about disruption, can you just, obviously it's in detail from here, but can you break down for us what, in the most simple way, what corruption is up for you right now that you want to investigate?
And specifically, what went wrong in companies?
Yes.
Well, if you've read the report, I mean, where do you begin?
Our readers haven't. Our viewers haven't.
Well,
so.
let me state that also. If, for those of you who want to see this report, it's on my website.
But if you're watching our
let me finish. www.frankvescera.com. The summary report is on there. And if you haven't gotten a chance to look at that, where you didn't stop. The website, www.frankvescera.com. And for those that don't have that, there are copies. I mean, call Councilman Zecca or myself, and we'll try to provide you with copies, printed copies if you need them.
But can you tell us right now what the problem
Well,
is?
right now there's an investigation, a separate criminal investigation. It's specifically spelled out in the second page of the document. A criminal investigation also is being conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Just that statement tells me this is serious, and we have no knowledge of what is going on, and that's why we're asking for the state to step in, because there is a lot of questions unanswered, and it keeps repeating over and over again: criminal activity,
lies,
fraud,
deception,
deceit. And we have not seen the full report yet. We have to sit down. The only way we're going to be able to see the report as council members is go to City Hall and get that document out of the safe, which we haven't had an opportunity. But we saw enough in this document in itself that says we need some outside folks to come in and finish this investigation. We can't afford to have any more problems with any of the local folks involved in this.
So when you guys say fraud, corruption, all this stuff, are you saying that the law firm that was handling this, because you threw out that company's name in the beginning,
right?
Is there a big question mark of who it is? I mean,
to be honest with you, there's a lot of question marks in this, and that's why we want, and it is a big question
In the
mark.
public field of questions?
Yes, well, we'd like to have the media finish first, and then we'll go to the public. Yeah.
Well, we don't have any specifics on it tonight. We don't know that somebody necessarily billed for work that wasn't done, or somebody got paid for...
Well,
That's in the exhibit.
That's
No,
in the exhibits. It's clearly spelled
Those
out.
claims have been, some of those have already been made. And again, the taxpayer should not be burdened. When the taxpayer, when we found out about this in April, Councilman Zecca and myself really objected to spending money on an unknown process with an unknown cap on it. And now it's enough is enough. Some people want to say, well, let's take a wait-and-see attitude. We cannot allow the taxpayers to wait and see how much higher this bill is going to be. We want it stopped now, and we want the investigation to be taken over by the entities that we mentioned.
And they should be. And this has been done throughout the state. Why isn't it done here in the city of Utica? And again, our districts are directly affected by it. We can no longer stand by and allow this to continue.
Can you
And
describe that
I
for
just
us?
want to mention the state Supreme Court in the back of the document. These are notices, summons of notices that were submitted. One of the persons directly involved in the GroWest organization, it says, take notice that this is negligence, breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of loyalty to employer, gross negligence, willful misconduct, fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, fraudulent indictment, bid rigging, bid collusion, and others. And it goes on, and it's a $7 million plus lawsuit. That's a concern. I mean, that's all this has
And
to
there's
tell
no
us.
ambiguity there. I mean, none at all. And you can't misread that.
Maybe you could tell
And
us...
there's individuals mentioned in this report. So as far as I could see, in Councilman Vescera, this is serious business. I mean, contractors are mentioned in here. I have had a number of calls from folks through the years that they weren't getting the work that they paid for done. And we had brought this up and brought this up. And there's other folks out here that are going to talk about it. But it just goes on and on. So there is definitely issues, and they're being served these papers. So.
After reading that, who do you guys think is at fault here?
Who prepared the report? Maybe...
The report was prepared by Hage and Hage. It's an local attorney,
Private law.
law firm that investigates these type of things. And
But
it's
how did-
hired by the city.
Well, after reading it, who do you think is at fault?
Well, that's
actually it's widespread. Everybody. Exactly.
Yeah, just tell the truth.
And this is the tip, seems to me, maybe perhaps the tip of the iceberg.
That's only one thing going on.
But
in City Hall.
again,
That whole
that's
City Hall
why we need an outside investigation of this report.
You buy it. You buy it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Because
You buy
there's
it.
too many conflicts of interest, and I think that's what folks are getting at.
That's right. It seems to
Goodbye.
me that people who are on the inside were privy from the beginning, right? Even before the council came in, they were privy from the beginning. It seems like they might be part of the problem. I mean, the instance with Mr. Beatty, who stepped down after 4 weeks, who was living in a Sullivan property, I mean, that's quite obvious to me. Something's wrong there. I mean, I'm going to say the name. Something's wrong there. We were privy from the beginning, and we were questioning why him? Why was he privy from the very beginning? And so that's part of the problem. And I can say that.
That's fraud in itself.
Are these improper practices continuing, Councilman? What about the matter of this man that was using the family home of city officials to deceive
This, I understand what
in
you're
an
saying.
employment matter?
This is
That's what I'm
precisely
talking
what
about.
makes this so much more urgent, because on Wednesday, we received this. We received this report from the Attorney Hage outlining all these abuses. And then 3 days later, on Saturday morning in the OD, you hear this, and this is from their article. City worker quits after a short stint, 4 weeks. And let me read just some from the OD article, a couple of the
Thank you.
statements.
That's right.
He said he was troubled by the general state of office, which he said lacks the staffing to abide by the regulations of the federal agency that funds it. And he further says, I took that job as an opportunity to get the situation together with GroWest and the lead grant going forward, but it was too much